And welcome back to For Such a Time as This End Time Prophecies. As always, I'm at Rick. Rick, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Pastor.
Is anything else going on in the Middle East that
I
new?
I know it's just not much. It just Iran just pulled out a 4,000 kilometer ICBM that
Yeah,
nobody knew they had. That changed the political landscape.
yeah. The here's the issue is I'm starting to see cracks in Trump's support in this war. They thought it was going to be real soon, real quick. What are we in our third week, fourth week? What is it?
I think it's the end of 3 weeks.
End of 3 weeks. Yeah, yeah. So, um, and I think he understands that's why he's coming out with news, and some people say he's trying to manipulate the stock market and saying that they're in diplomatic talks with Iran, and possibly we can have a diplomatic end to this, which I think will be a mistake
Again,
again. But because at one point did he not say they wanted to talk? He said no total surrender. He said that at one
yeah, he
point.
did say that.
He
Total
said
surrender.
that total surrender, and now he's going back. That's I don't know if that's Trump being
Trump.
sly as a fox, or if he's being wishy-washy. Again, the Democrats are portraying him as being wishy-washy. But anyway, all right, let us get going with our clips, and then after that, we're going to talk about the countries discussed in Ezekiel 38, and to see how that lines up with what we're seeing today, if it lines up to what we see today. But let us begin with our first update video on the Middle East. The first one, what is Rick? We're discussing
a 24-hour.
24
What's
hour.
going on in the last 24 hours around the globe?
A Reader's Digest of what's going on around the world. All right, here we go.
Here's the last 24 hours in geopolitics. Iran has vowed to irreversibly destroy Middle Eastern energy infrastructure following Trump's threat to obliterate Iranian power plants if the Strait of Hormuz is not fully reopened within 48 hours. In U.S., Trump has branded the Democratic Party as America's next greatest enemy, claiming he has already destroyed Iran's military power. In U.S., Trump deployed ICE agents to airports to support overstretched TSA operations during the funding standoff. In UK, government minister has dismissed Israeli warnings that Iran can now strike British soil, despite Tehran's recent 4,000-kilometer missile attack on Diego Garcia. In Israel, Iran struck buildings near Dimona nuclear facility, retaliating for attacks on its Natanz nuclear facility. Questions are being raised over Israel's missile defense limits. In Lebanon, Israel ordered military to destroy Litani River bridges and homes, alleging use by Hezbollah. In Red Sea, a nightmare scenario is developing as the Houthis issue fresh warnings about the choke point. If Houthis start attacking shipping, it could disrupt 15% of world's total trade. In China, Beijing will open its market further to foreign firms and pursue more balanced trade after posting a record 1.2 trillion trade surplus. In Taiwan, Taipei is ramping up its defenses as invasion fears mount. Taiwan expects F-16V fighters to begin arriving in 2026, with production hitting full capacity. In Cuba, a senior official said the military is preparing for the possibility of an attack as Trump's threats intensify. In Sudan, the World Health Organization said an attack on Al Dain Teaching Hospital in East Darfur killed at least 64 people. In U.S., Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent claims 50 days of high gas prices are a worthy trade-off for 50 years of Middle East peace.
Which would be true if 50 days is true.
If 50 days is true.
And so I don't know. We'll see.
So, nothing to worry about. There's not much going on. Everybody around the globe is probably sleeping quietly at night. But this just shows the scriptures are true, that Matthew talks about wars and rumors of wars, nations.
Yep. Nation rise against nations.
Nations upon nations. And, as volatile as Iran is right now, anyone could pop up anywhere at any time. And
Yeah.
just destroy the geopolitical scene.
Yeah. All right, here's the next clip.
These last few days, there have been some very serious impacts. In the town of Arad in southern Israel, there was a direct impact from a ballistic missile in the middle of several apartment buildings. 115 people were injured in this one strike. And the crazy miracle is that not one person was killed. Imagine if the missile had directly hit one of those apartment buildings less than 100 feet away, how many people would have been killed? So praise God for his protection. There was also a strike in Dimona, bringing the combined injury toll to around 200 people.
My question is, how do we strike 7,000, 8,000 one night? 10,000? How many thousands of sites have we bombed in Iran, and they're still getting off missiles?
It's like 9,000 right now.
I don't understand. Did Iran have those many?
Iran is so huge in so many mountainous areas. I guess, if you've destroyed 90% of their military infrastructure, well, they've destroyed their Air Force, their Navy, and 90% of their missile production facilities, and their 90% of their missiles, at least 10%. And it just takes one to get through. Just takes one. But the thing about Israel now, Israel is getting very impacted because now they have these cluster munitions where the missiles come down, the missile head detaches, and then 10 or multiple warheads come from that one missile head, and that's kind of hard to knock all of those out of the air at one time. So this is Iran started using that a couple of weeks ago.
Why didn't they use? Oh, I thought the first one was a few days ago.
Just in the recent past, maybe the last week.
The question is, this is the obvious question: why didn't they use that? If it's so effective, why didn't they use that in the beginning?
That's a good question.
The answer is pretty obvious. They didn't have it.
So
somebody's supplying them with those missiles now.
Well,
why would you, if this can get through, why would you wait till now to shoot it off?
So maybe they're China.
And risk what those airstrikes getting your best missiles before you can launch them.
Good point.
I think someone's supplying them with those missiles. They didn't have those missiles at the beginning.
Probably China.
China or Russia supplying them with these missiles. But I don't know. All right. Here's the next update.
Yeah, because Tel Aviv just got hit pretty hard.
Pretty hard in the middle of Tel Aviv.
Yeah, the middle of Tel
Aviv.
Aviv.
Why wouldn't that be the first day? That's the first. You don't hold off to shoot your best shot.
Right.
At this point.
You do your best shot first.
Because you know your leaders are going to sleep every day. You want to get these off, right? So, all right, here's the next update.
Iran has maintained, we're specifically developing short-range ballistic missiles, less than 2,000 kilometers, or about 900 miles, I guess, and we're not going for the intermediate range stuff. This would seem to put the lie to what they were claiming yet again.
Yes, and we saw their space launch capability. The IRGC popped up a rocket back in 2024. So you lighten the warhead, you put in some more propellant at another stage, and you've got that reach towards Diego Garcia. What was so scary, John, is that is one of our biggest forward bomber bases. Our B-52s, B-2s, B-1s have all operated out of there. Of course, they're tankers and occasionally fighters, too. So that was Iran trying, but failing, thanks to that U.S. Navy sea-based ballistic missile intercept.
And we should also point out that at the beginning of this conflict, the UK had denied us permission to use that base, but then reopened it after President Trump, I think, took a strip off of Keir Starmer. The Council on International Mediation said this about the attempted missile strike. The real story is not whether the missile was intercepted. It is that Iran may have demonstrated reach far beyond what much of the world believed it possessed. A 4,000-kilometer capability changes the map. Major European capitals begin to enter the conversation. Paris comes into range. London moves much closer to the edge of vulnerability, depending on launch point and payload. If confirmed, Diego Garcia was not just a target, it was a message. Now, hitting an island that's only 15 by 5 miles wide in the middle of the Indian Ocean is a pretty hard target to hit. But if you fired one of those at Paris, which is about 7 or 8 miles across, even if you missed, you're likely going to hit something.
Well, that Diego Garcia attempt was a message that Iran will go after critical infrastructure. Now, the U.S. and the Europeans have known all along that Iran had this possible rogue missile capability. Why? That's why we have early warning radars in Poland and Romania set up for that, and why we have an entire destroyer squadron based out of Rota in the Mediterranean. Right now, our primary defense against Iran's long-range missiles is sea-based shots with the SM-3 and family from our destroyers.
So the stock market and the oil markets like what President Trump said late yesterday on Truth Social, and that is that the United States is engaged in talks.
Talks they haven't gone very well in the past, have they, Pastor?
Not really, and it seems like they seem to think they're breaking, giving breaking news that Iran lied.
Are you serious?
Iran didn't tell the truth about their missile capability.
Really?
They seem to think that that's news. That's what's so funny about that news clip, that they think that that's news. They lie. We know that.
Well, this 4,000 kilometer ICBM reaching all those countries now. Ukraine was getting a lot of ICBMs from NATO nations, and now NATO nations is, hey, we're going to hang on to our ICBMs right now. That Trump just showed the weakness and vulnerability of the NATO nations because they haven't put any money toward defense, and I bet Putin's there licking his chops right now too.
All right, here's the last update before we get to our spiritual discussion. Here we go.
At the end, what is the task of leaders if you're a leader? The most important thing is to assure the security of your people. And that means identifying danger in time and acting against it. That is a prerequisite for the survival of any biological organism. You have to identify danger in time and act in time against it. You either fight or flight. These are the two options you have. Where can you flee? Nowhere, because Iran can reach any part of the world. So you have to, at a certain point, fight. And this is the juncture where we've reached in time. Not too late, but in time. I just will encourage all those who agree with what President Trump is saying, with what I'm saying too, act. I didn't have to convince President Trump of anything. He didn't need any convincing. He acted as a great leader does to protect his country and to protect the future.
Okay.
Well, I give President Trump credit for addressing the problem, which nobody wanted to address in the last.
They've kicked the can down the
road
for decades.
And so you look at Iran now they say had about 3,000 ballistic missiles. What would it have been like if they had 10,000 or 12,000 ballistic missiles? They would hold the world hostage. So as inconvenient as this is, I think it's the right decision. Now, whether it's going to be over in 1 more week or 2 more weeks, that's another discussion.
Yeah. A country who's been saying we're the big Satan for 47 years. The inauguration of their country was highlighted by taking those American hostages from our embassies.
Exactly.
And parading them on national television, smacking them on top of their head. That's what led to Reagan's 40-state sweep. Because a weak president, Jimmy Carter, allowed the Iranian regime to come to power and humiliate us on national television. And again, one of the funniest things, Rick, you remember this, the funniest things ever in any time is when Reagan was campaigning saying, I promise you, if I'm president, we will not be humiliated like this. And Iran told, shut up, Reagan. As Reagan was getting sworn in, they were shoving out hostages on that plane to bring it back to the U.S. because Reagan said they were going to pay if they had our hostages publicly. So that's how Iran came to power. That's how they came to power. And Reagan stopped that. You know what? I'm going to do a video. I just made my mind. I'm going to do a video this week on that. The funniest moments, one of the most historic moments in world history as Reagan is being sworn in. Iran is returning our hostages, right? So, but anyway, let me put this verse up. In Ezekiel 38:5, it lists countries that are going to come with Gog of Magog down to Israel for battle. Persia, Cush, Put are with them. The Scythians, Gog of Magog. Well, I think they're Scythians. Some people think they're Turkish Anatolia area, but we don't know. But Gog of Magog is leading this contingent against God and his people, which will lead to Armageddon in Revelation 19. Cush, Persia, Cush, Put are with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his hordes, and Beth Togar Mah from the uttermost parts of the north with all his hordes. Many peoples are with you. The question is, Persia, beginning of verse 5. Everyone, now the other ones, Cush, Put, we can say, they're in the Libya area, they're in
Northern
Sudan
Africa.
area, yes. Gomer, that's the Europe. It's Europe.
Right.
Gomer, I think, are the Greeks. No, that's Javon. Gomer? No. I'm sorry. Gomer is he's from the east. Hordes, Beth Togar. That might be Arabs. I'm not sure. But one of the things that are very, very crystal clear, no one debates, that Persia is Iran. Iran has claimed Persia. It's the area where the great Persian empires came from. Here's the question. Where's this battle? Because Persia seems to be, when is this battle? We know where it's going to be, Armageddon, and they're headed towards Armageddon. We know where it's going to be. When? The contingent here is Persia. Is Persia / Iran in any state, as we speak, to be waging war on foreign soil, specifically northern Israel? I don't think they're in that position.
No, it doesn't look like it. But the prevailing view is that Ezekiel 38 and 39 is a war that occurs when Israel is at peace before the tribulation starts. But two possibilities. Iran's military capability does not look like it's going to be around to participate in a war. And Israel's definitely not at peace, so I don't see where this is going right now.
Yeah, but I thought the Antichrist makes a treaty. The Antichrist makes a treaty with many, and it seems like a peace treaty with many, which starts the millennial kingdom, because in that Daniel 9, he makes a treaty for 7.
It doesn't start the millennium; it starts the tribulation.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. I meant to say tribulation. Yes, yeah, you're right. I meant to say tribulation, not millennium. Tribulation. The peace treaty starts the tribulation. So that can't be because we know in Daniel 9 that he's going to make the peace treaty for 7 years, but he's going to break it halfway in.
Correct.
So if he's going to make a peace treaty, they can't be at peace if they're already at peace. The making of a peace treaty sort of implies that they're not at peace.
Correct.
You don't need a peace treaty if you're already at peace. So I don't know.
It's not as clear as people. It's not black and white.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's
And
not
Persia
black
is in no position. Iran is in no position right now. I don't think they have a government, Rick. Every government that there's appointed, he dies soon after. I don't even think they have a government, to be honest with you.
I would not want to be one of those leaders because the guy on the list, the next guy up, is going to be the next guy down.
Yeah, their government is living in tents in forests. And even then, Israel is striking and killing them, living in tents and forests. So, I don't see. When is this war? Again, Rick, I don't know when you think it is. I think it's at the end. I think this is Armageddon. I don't know. What do you think this is, Rick? I don't know.
So, Armageddon, but Israel's not at peace with the last 3.5 years of the tribulation. I don't believe they are, but
I don't. Yeah.
so
Except for that one little thing where it says that they're going to be nourished for three times that 3.5
yeah,
years.
there's a remnant that flees Israel and
Yeah.
is in the desert,
Yeah.
and but I
Yeah.
definitely think so. I think it's two wars right now. I think
Sure.
that second half of 38 and 39 is definitely Armageddon. It lines up with the bowl judgments and everything. This first war, I thought I knew what it was, but I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're gonna find out soon, I guess.
I think so. If you think this is the end, people, that somehow God is bringing the rule of man on earth to an end, and He's going to usher in the tribulation, which I believe is Daniel's 70th week. That is Revelation's 7-year tribulation. That's tribulation spoken of in Matthew 24. Then some pieces have to be put together. And again, I'm flexible. I certainly don't know it all, but I think those prophecies are designed that when we see them, we will recognize them. And why do I say that? If you look at His first coming, a lot of things, if you just read them as were written, you wouldn't be able to see them as clearly as when Christ came. But when Christ came and He started to fulfill them, then you can see it clearly in the prophecy spoken of before. I think it's going to be the same thing this time. When it happens, when the second coming happens, you will be able to see. I think they're written so that you can see clearly when they happen, see dimly before it happens, but can see crystal clear when it starts to happen, thus giving the church on earth a roadmap and a way to navigate the difficult times that the church is going to go through. Well, that's it for me, Rick. Any last words?
No, we'll probably have a little bit more information next week.
Well, we're going to have a lot of information if Trump sticks to his timeline.
Yeah.
In which the timeline will end on Friday. If they do not come to a deal, he said he is going to return Iran to the Stone Ages with no electricity throughout the country.
That's going to be that's going to hurt the Iranian people.
I don't. You know what? Yeah, definitely. You said something about the Israeli military. I think they can use satellite phones, Rick. I don't think they're dependent on electricity per se.
Yeah, they have it, but do the people there that they're talking to? And yeah,
you think they're getting information
from a lot
from the citizenry,
right? Citizenry, and maybe some people inside the IRGC and stuff. So
okay, yeah,
but yeah, very tenuous situation, and
yeah. But here's the thing, to defend Trump's position. Without electricity, I don't think you can launch any more missiles. Right? I think it's going to be very difficult because then all the power that you need to run all your systems, all your electronic stuff, you have to do a gas generator. And how long can you do that?
Yeah.
The electricity that is drawn on these supercomputers and stuff, you can't run those with generators. Not long you can, you know.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll see. Well, thank you, Rick. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pastor.
We continue to look for His coming. Till then, God bless. Hopefully we see Him soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, Pastor.